Hello everyone, welcome back to IELTS with Rashid, and in this video I'll explain briefly what exactly is speaking test in IELTS. Let's dive in. IELTS speaking test is a face-to-face interview with an examiner. This goes for both paper-based and computer-based tests. This speaking test is common for both academic and GT test takers. This means that the speaking test remains the same for everyone. The examiners follow a script to ensure that all speaking tests follow the same pattern. The interview is recorded. These recordings can later be used if you wish to apply for a recheck. The test lasts around 12 to 14 minutes. The examiner decides when to ask and when to stop the candidates. The speaking module begins with candidate's ID check and greeting. They ask your name and your date of birth, and they ask, "Can I see your ID?" And then the test begins. Okay, let's talk about the part 1 first. There will be 4 to 5 questions, and it lasts about 3 to 5 minutes. The examiner will ask you questions about familiar topics like games, hobbies, likes and dislikes, sports, etc. Alright, the part 2. The examiner will give you a topic on a card or a booklet. You need to talk about the topic for 1 to 2 minutes. This is a prepared talk, as you are given 1 minute to prepare yourself or write down your notes if you want to. The examiner may ask you some follow-up questions. Lastly, the part 3. That's a discussion on a topic that lasts about 4 to 5 minutes. The examiner will ask you more detailed and more abstract questions related to the topic that was given to you in the part 2. Now let's briefly go through the criteria of speaking module. Number 1, fluency and cohesion. How fluently do you speak and how easy it is to understand what you're saying. The second one is the lexical resources. Can you accurately use or attempt to use a wide range of vocabulary? Can you explain your ideas even if you are not familiar with the word? Can you use or attempt to use advanced level vocabulary accurately? The third one is grammatical range and accuracy. This means, can you use a wide variety of grammatical structures suitable for what you want to say? The pronunciation. Is your spoken English clear and easily understood? Can you use other linguistic features like stress and intonation to add extra meaning? How accurately do you use stress for individual words?
Tell me something about your family.
Although I live abroad now, my mum's family is from Paris and my dad's family is from Toulouse, so I'm from a very French family. I would say I come from quite a small family, really. For example, I just have 1 older sister and 4 cousins, but it's true that my extended family is fairly big.
What do you like doing most with your family?
I like having nice long meals with good food and good wine, and a few jokes for dessert.
Who are you close to in your family?
In my family? Well, I'm close to my Uncle Jacques. He's a chef. He's hilarious, always telling jokes, and he's very enthusiastic about everything he does. We spent a lot of time together when I was growing up. In fact, he helped to bring me up.
In what way is your family important to you?
My family is everything to me. They are my best friends. They support me when things aren't going well, and when things are going well. I know they'll always be there for me, no matter what.
One of my best friends is a guy called Raul. I met him at uni in Barcelona, where we were in the same study group. When was that? I suppose it was over 10 years ago now, so yes, we've known each other for a good decade. We got to know each other on the tennis courts, because the first few days of our course were so boring that we both decided we'd be better off outside playing tennis. What kind of person is he? Well, he's very active, a sporty type, involved in hiking and mountain biking, a bit of an adrenaline junkie. He's also a very determined person. When he gets into something, he gives 100%. And he changes passions often. That makes him a bit of a self-absorbed person, actually, which I'd say is a drawback. And I think he comes across as full of himself sometimes. I mean, a bit too sure of his own opinions. As for why I like him, well, he's actually quite different from me. At uni, he'd often suggest doing something and I'd go along with it. And because I'm laid back, I never felt overwhelmed by him. We've never fallen out or anything.
How often do you see your friend?
Well, because we live in different countries, we don't see each other that often. But we try to catch up on a fairly regular basis, say 3 times a year.
In Western countries, I would say families have become more widely dispersed and less close. People travel more and then end up living far away from their families. I think this is a shame because it means there is a breakdown of communities. I also think that because families are spread over a wider geographical area, elderly people tend to be forgotten and usually live on their own.
Should we rely heavily on our families, or is it better to try to be independent?
People seem to like living independently from each other these days, but I do wonder if that's the best way. Relying on people is seen as a weakness by some, I think. However, having family nearby is invaluable when you have children, in my opinion. Who else can be called on to babysit at a moment's notice?
The elderly are sometimes considered the wisest members of society. What do you think we can learn from them?
Oh, an immense amount. They're our living link with the past, of a family, a region, a country. They're the keepers of local traditions, for example, and they provide a sense of identity to younger generations.
What do you expect from a good friend?
For me, a good friend has to be reliable. I can't stand being stood up or having my emails and texts ignored. As well as that, a friend should be someone you can have good fun with. There are many things in life to be serious about, but friendship shouldn't be one of them. I also believe that opposites attract, in friendships just as in romance, so a good friend will most likely be very different from you in many ways.
Are friends as important to you as family?
No, I wouldn't say so. Friends come and go, but family are always there, whether you like it or not. You can even be rude to your family, not that it's advisable, of course, and they will forgive you. But sometimes you've known a friend for so long, they can become like a family member. You can really be yourself with them, and you may even argue quite often, like siblings do.
Do you think friendships change as we get older?
Well, I definitely find that I have less in common with some friends than I used to. I sometimes wonder what we used to find to talk about. And so you often grow apart from old school friends or old colleagues. The people I feel I have most in common with are friends I met at university. I'm not sure why, but we somehow always have lots to talk about.
So that's all for this small overview of the speaking module. If you want to know the top tips to do well on this speaking module, check out my next videos.